this video, I'm going to show you how to create an existing floor plan. I'm first going to start by coming up to the Insert tab, Import PDF, and then I'm going to navigate to where I have my file saved. I'm going to click Open, and then I'm going to change my resolution from 72 dpi to 300. That just makes the image nice and clear for us to trace over. And then once I do that, I'm going to click to place the PDF, and then the next thing I'm going to do is check to make sure that our PDF is to the correct scale. So down here, you'll see that I'm in 1/8 scale. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the Annotate tab. I'm going to grab a detail line, and I'm just going to draw a line just to make sure that what this says is 8 inches is actually 8 inches, and looks like it is. So we are to scale. If I needed to adjust the scale, I would come up to this scale tool and resize this PDF to match the scale of my drawing. Before we start to draw, we want to make sure that our view is set to existing. So right here in the Properties panel, you'll see my phase is set to New Construction. So I'm just going to come here and click that drop-down menu and change it to Existing, and now we're ready to start drawing walls. Now that I have my PDF placed, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say Enable Snaps. What this is going to allow me to do is when I start drawing my walls, I can actually snap to points in this PDF. And so from the PDF, it looks like most of my walls are 8 inches thick. So I'm going to come up to the Architecture tab, to Wall, and I'm just going to use this basic wall generic 8 inches. And I'm going to change this location line. I want this to be finish face exterior so that I can trace around the outside. And then you'll see when I hit snap point, I'm going to see a little pink symbol. And then I'm just going to draw, and this is going to help me to trace the walls. Now that I've placed my exterior walls, I have some walls that I'm going to need to change here. So this one, I'm just going to change this to a 12-inch wall. So if I just click the drop-down menu right here, and I just change this to generic 12 inches, and that takes care of that one. Now, these ones are a little bit thicker, and if I use my line and I try to draw this out, I see that wall's about 2 feet 2 inches thick. And I don't have one of those options here in my current list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Edit Type, and then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to change this and rename this from 8 inches to 2'2" would be 26 inches. Now, this only changes the name of the wall. Now I actually have to adjust the wall to match it as well. So right here in Structure, I'm going to hit Edit and change this from 8 to 26 inches. And that will auto update. And I'm going to click OK. And now I have a wall that's also that thickness. So now I'll just change that one to my 26. And then just drag this out a little bit past. Do the same with this one. And now I have the walls at the right thickness. Now that I've drawn all my walls, we're ready to place some doors. Before we go to the door tool, though, I'm going to come up here to the Insert tab to load Autodesk Family. We're going to load a door family in. I'm going to pick Doors. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and do this Door Single Panel and hit Load. And then I'm just going to pull in all of these ones that are 80 inches tall. I'm just holding down the Control key as I select these to make sure I get all the ones that are 6'8". And then I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to bring them all in. And now I'm going to come to my Architecture tab, to Doors. And then here's our door single panel. And I'm going to grab a 36-inch door for our front door. And I'm just going to place that. And I just want to move this and make sure that it's aligned with where it's at on the plan. And same thing for my bedroom. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add a 2'6" door. If the door's not facing the right way, if I hit the space bar, it's going to flip it for me so that it's facing the right way. If I don't get it on the right side, the reason this is because Revit will place it on the door to the edge that your cursor is most close to. So since I'm towards the top of this wall, it's placing the door through the top. But if I move my cursor down to the bottom of this door, it's going to flip it. And then I can always hit the space bar to change it. And then also if I ever have it in the wrong spot, I can always hit these blue arrows to flip it around until it gets into the right position. Next, we're going to add windows. So I'm going to come up here to my window tab, and we have some window families already loaded. I'm just use this window fixed. I'm going to come place a window right here. Now again, same as the doors, Revit's going to put the exterior of the window wherever my cursor is closest to. So I want the window to face the outside, so I'm going to keep my cursor towards the outside of the wall, and I'm going to click. And now if I select this wall, you'll see that my window's just slightly bigger on my PDF than what's actually there. And that's because this window is 3 feet, but my plan is showing that that's a 3'8" window. So I need to edit the size of this window. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go Edit Type. Again, I'm going to duplicate this. We're going to change this to 3'8", which is going to be 44 inches. And I'm going to change my width right here to be 3'8". And then we're going to click OK. And then that makes my window a little bit bigger. And then I'll just continue to go around and place these windows until all of my windows are placed. The next thing we're going to do is add some regular components, such as for this bathroom. So before I go to my components, I'm going to come up to Insert and Load Autodesk Family. I'm going to grab all the families that I need for this bathroom. So I'm going to come down here to Plumbing, and then Fixtures. I'm going to get this round vanity sink. I'm going to get this 3D toilet, and I'm going to get this 3D tub. And I'm going to load those in. Now I'm going to come to the Architecture tab and come here to Components. And I'm just going to place these. So let's start with the tub. Now the tub, you'll see there's a little circle with a line through it, and that's because tubs are what we call wall-based family. So I have to pick a wall to have this hosted to. So I'm going to pick this wall right here. And then I'm just going to use my Align tool to get it in the right position. So I'm going to select the edge of that wall, and then the edge of the tub. And then next, I'm going to come here to Components again. I'm going to use the search feature. I'm just going to type sink until I find my vanity. And then I'll just place my sink like that. And then same thing with the toilet. Now when I'm placing components, if it's not facing the right direction, if I hit my spacebar, Revit will rotate it till you get it in the right position, and then you can click once it's in the right spot. Once we have our first level done, the next step is to get our basement level drawn. And before we do that, I'm going to click here on this button. This is going to take me to a 3D view. And you'll see right here that I have a level 1 and a level 2, but I don't have a basement level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this level 1. I'm going to hold down my control key. Then I'm going to click and drag. And this is going to duplicate a level. I'm going to place this at 8 feet. If I need to change it, I can always click on that number right there. We'll change that to -8. And then I'm going to rename this one from level 3 to say basement. But you'll see over here that I still don't have a floor plan for my basement. So what I'm going to do is come over here to my View tab and come here to Plan Views, Floor Plan. And then you should have one right here that will match whatever name you put in right there. So mine said basement, so I'm going to hit OK. And now that creates a basement floor plan for me. Now before I start drawing walls, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to import my PDF of the second floor, or of the basement. Again, 300 dpi. I'm going to place this. I'm going to check my scale again. So I'm going to do a detail line. Make sure that that's 8 inches wide. Okay, so we're good there. Now the next thing is we need to make sure that this corner matches the corner of our first floor. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to Properties. And I'm going to change my underlay to say level 1 to level 2 looking down. I'm going to hit apply, so you can see right there this gray line represents what I've drawn on my first floor, and I want my basement floor to match that. So again, I'm going to click on my PDF and I'm going to enable snaps, and then I'm going to click the move tool. I'm going to pick this corner, and then I'm going to move this to my corner right there. Now that I have my PDF placed, we're ready to start drawing walls on the basement level. So I'm going to go here to architecture and then to wall. Now, before I start drawing walls, I want to look at this top constraint right here. Right now it says unconnected and 20 feet. Well, right now my basement is only 8 feet below my first floor. So if I start drawing these walls, they're actually going to start showing up on the main floor, which we don't want. So we're going to adjust this top constraint. So we're going to change this from unconnected to say up to level 1. And now you'll see right there in that gray out space, it says that the wall is going to be 8 feet tall, which is what we want. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to pick my generic 8-inch. And then again, I'm just going to start tracing my walls for my basement. Now that my basement floor is drawn, the last thing I have to do is add stairs. So I'm going to come here. Well, first I'm going to check my stairs and see what the tread depth is. I'm going to come here to annotate and detail line. And so you can see here that I have 9-inch for my tread. So now I'm going to come back to my architecture tab and click stairs. And then I'm going to change this to the 7-inch max riser, 11-inch tread. Now our tread wasn't 11 inches, so I'm going to hit edit type, and we're going to duplicate this. And I'm going to change this to 9-inch tread. Click OK, and then right here in the parameters, I'm going to change this minimum tread depth to 9 inches. And what this is doing is this allows Revit to draw stairs, and it's just going to calculate how to space all of the lines that represents the steps in our stair. So we always want to start on the lowest level, so basement up to level 1. So it's going to give me, so I have 8 feet that I essentially have to connect. So I'm going to come up to here. I also need to figure out my actual run, which I believe is 3'8". And then I'm going to change this location line. And I'm going to change this to, so I'm going to go up the stairs, and I want to follow this wall right here. So I'm going to change that to my run right. And then I'm going to click. This will represent my first step right there. And then I'm going to wrap the corner and click right here. And then continue until I've reached the end of the gray box. And that is going to show me the full set of stairs. Okay, and this is a little wider than I probably needed it to be. So I'm just going to come back here. I'm going to drag this till I hit my wall. And now I'm going to hit my green check mark. And then I'm going to come up to my level 1, and you can see where my stairs are drawn. For now, I'm just going to delete these handrails because we're just really looking at the steps right now. But you'll see that they end right there where it ends on my PDF. If your stairs aren't lining up like this, chances are your levels are not set correctly. So your basement might be more than 8 feet, or it might be less than 8 feet. So make sure that your distance between your main floor and your basement is 8 feet. And then make sure that your basement and your main floor are aligned. If my stairs were to look something like this, then chances are that I didn't get my basement floor aligned to my main floor properly. So the last thing that we need to do is to label our rooms and to add dimensions. So to label these rooms, for now, on the existing plan, we're just going to use a text box. When we get to the new plan later, we'll actually use the actual room name function in Revit. But for now, we're just going to do a text box. I'm going to come to the Annotate tab, to Text, and then I'm just going to copy these labels. I'm going to make sure that my caps lock is on. So this is the living room. This is the garage, shop. And then I'm just going to do that until all of my rooms are named. And then to add dimensions, I'm just going to come up here to my dimension tool, and then I'm just going to copy these dimensions. So we need this overall dimension. So I'm just going to click that line. I'm going to come over here and click this line. I'm going to drag this up, and then I just want to move this and click somewhere in the white space, and that's going to add that dimension. When I have multiple dimensions, I can include it in one continuous dimension string. So to start this, I'm just going to start by clicking the leftmost, and then I'm just going to come in here and just click everything, and I'm basically just going to copy this dimension string right here. And then once I've copied all the dimensions, the next thing that I need to do is select my PDF. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to hide it because we don't want to see it on our final printout. And then if I need to, I can clean up these dimensions a little bit, especially these ones that are really close together. I can just kind of pull these up and out.